Hello everyone, I'm going to be doing my final presentation for intercultural communications. The co-culture that I chose to do my presentation on is of student athletes. I'll be using Hofstede's dimensions to further break down this co-culture and teach more about it. The dimensions that I chose to help me with this breakdown is masculinity versus femininity, individualism versus collectivism, and power distance index. So to start off, the first one, masculinity versus femininity. In this co-culture, there is a high level of masculinity. This co-culture is surrounded just by peer competitiveness, achieving personal goals and team goals, as well as just overall winning it's basically a priority in this co-culture. You're basically surrounded by it's motivation by coaches and academic advisors to be able to perform academically first, to be able to participate in the sports and perform as well in that sport. So I have a quote here. It says, "The pressure of teammates and coaches to keep grades high enough to be eligible to play a sport, also known as controlled motivation, and the goal of being rewarded with the eligibility to play a sport, also known as extrinsic motivation, are therefore both key aspects to athletic academic success." So, being part of this co-culture myself, formally, when I played in high school, you first have to perform academically. Myself, I don't know, I can speak for everyone, but I didn't want to be the best person, not only just in sports but also academically. It's just something that's part of you when you are a student athlete. However, there is a downfall to this. So for example, if a student athlete were to get injured or they're just not able to participate in the sport because of not keeping up good grades, student athletes are sort of put in this limbo where they don't know what to do. It's sort of a loss of identity, because their culture is just, being able to compete with other people and just be athletic. So when you take that away from them, there is that sort of loss of identity. I have a quote here that further helps this analysis. It says, "Many athletes find themselves unprepared for what comes next, both physically and emotionally, because they don't have a post-career plan in place. Most of us just don't want to think about a reality that does not include the games that we've dedicated our entire lives to playing." So personally, I've experienced that, where every student athlete does experience that at some point. Whether you reach professional level, there's only a certain amount of time that you can play. That's why academic advisors do push for that second degree in college and so forth. The second dimension I want to break down is individualism versus collectivism. In this co-culture, individualism is basically a high level, as well as collectivism, which is not that high. It's sort of lower level, because you are a student athlete, so you do have to basically put yourself first. Academically, you have to be able to get a degree, so that way you can have a secure job if you cannot go far in sports. And if you do want to go far in sports, you have to look out for yourself individually first, as that way you can get other coaches from colleges to look out for you and give you a scholarship, and just basically put yourself in a better situation for you and your family. I have a quote here as well that says, "The USA, being an individualistic nation, values personal independence and pleasure. It further values individual expression and personal time. Individualists put personal goals and interests ahead of group interest, therefore having a high regard for personal achievement and individualistic rights." So once again, you are part of a team. There is that teamwork, but as well, you do have to put yourself first, and it's very normal in this culture. The last one is power distance index. In this culture, there is a high level of this, we see it because there is authority levels. There's this hierarchy where you have coaches and academic advisors at the top. They're the ones who run everything. They guide you through your academics and in your sports. Then you have your assistant coaches, your just there's a level of coaches, there's a level of assistant coaches, and then you have your administration and the players, and there's very high level of respect for those levels. You don't see much authority questioning. It's pretty much if they tell you to do something, you're going to do it. It comes from both academic side and the sports side. I have two quotes here for that. It says, "Coaches and athletic academic advisors were found to be the most powerful and visible members of the student athletes' academic role sets, as well as as athletes mature, their experience in sports are greater. Thus, these coaches practice more on this dimension of the power distance index due to the athletes that can receive better in training and be able to follow the command that is given." So like I said, there's not much authority questioning. It's pretty much they tell you to do something, you're going to do it, because at the end of the day, it's to better yourself. So to conclude here, we can see that the co-culture of being a student athlete, there's a high level of masculinity as well as individualism, a little bit of collectivism, and also another high level of power distance index in the US student athlete. Thank you.